Hey Virgo, happy new moon to you. So this is the 2-week forecast where I start on the day of the new moon in Leo and take you all the way to the full moon in Aquarius on the 9th of August. Now this 2 weeks has so many different themes going on, but one of the current themes, one of the most important themes from your perspective, is the fact that Mercury is retrograde and he is retrograde in your 12th house, really sort of emphasizing this sense of renewal, this kind of private, secret, unconscious, and intuitive renewal. So there's definitely some big stuff going on there. Now, some of the big themes coming up, I think, are to do with letting go of the masks, really sort of unmasking, shining a light into all those areas in your life that maybe have been kept in the dark. How to be less inhibited, how to be playful and really feel into the purpose of your life. I think these are really big, strong themes. Now, I've got 3 questions I'm really hoping to answer throughout this whole forecast. The first one is, what truth am I remembering beneath the noise? So I guess to answer that, we need to sort of understand what the noise is. There's a certain amount of noise around us all the time. I think there's a lot of media noise, a lot of sort of noise from governments, noise from the community and stuff. But what's your core truth underneath it all? What can you remember about it? The next one would be, what part of me is returning stronger, safer, wiser? There is in this particular forecast period, there's a lot about us bringing ourselves forwards in a new way. And the last one, on a similar line, is, where have I been hiding in my life and what happens when I stop hiding? So I'm really quite excited to sort of explore that with you or for you. If you're new to this channel, by the way, my name's Louisa Tanner Munson, so welcome. If you've been here before and you've come back, then thank you so much. Let me just bring up the slides I'm going to be using, and also say thank you to everybody that supports me here, because I really appreciate you. So with this, we're going from the new moon to the full moon, and as such, this is known as a waxing moon phase. Going from the dark moon, where there's no illumination at all, and we have to be in charge of our own light. This is a time of deep intuition. This is a time when traditionally we have scaled everything back. These new moon energies, I think, are very much like an ace in a tarot deck. The aces are so delicate. The new energy is almost like a newborn. You have to protect it. You have to let it grow, let it strengthen in itself before you put it under any stress. And so with the new moon, I really think we sit with our intentions, we feel into them, we allow those feelings to sort of grow around our body. We notice what goes on, what sort of new mind movies are playing out, what do we hear, what do we smell, all those kind of sensory things are going on. And as the new moon grows and grows, there's a little bit more illumination coming in. And so we're getting a little bit more outside influence. And I think as it starts to grow, you get a little kind of cosmic nudge as to what you might want to step forwards in, and you take little actions. As we get to the first quarter, the energy of the first quarter is really, I think, perfect for stepping out in a bold way, like really committing to something and saying, okay, that bit, that's not for me, but this is the bit that I'm really going to define and continue with. And then things seem to gather and pick up speed. There's a lot of resources, lots of extra things coming in, and around the time of the full moon, things are really whirling around. So there's lots of things flying into view. In fact, at the full moon, you cannot unsee things. To me, it just seems like a time when it's highly sensory. All your senses are activated, and it can get a little bit overwhelming, especially if you're an HSP kind of person, sort of high sensory kind of person. It's really that sensitivity is off the scales. So yeah, we are moving in this way. And so the full moon, knowing ahead of time that it is absolutely high in terms of sensitivity, I think is a real clue as to what you might want to watch out for. Because as we're coming into this, you can also see I've highlighted these 3 days, the new moon, again, the first quarter, and the full moon. The full moon, with its high energy, has Mars making an exact trine with Uranus, which is absolutely sort of mobilizing us into taking action very quickly. And also Mars is in an exact opposition to Saturn. And also just after the full moon, like moments after the full moon, Mars makes an exact opposition to Neptune. So this is a highly charged day. as if we needed any extra charge because it's a full moon. Um, so these 3 dates are the key dates in this 2-week period. It's not always like that, but these are the dates when something is aligning exactly with Saturn and Neptune. So I will be paying attention to where Saturn and Neptune are in your chart. They're not always as important as this, but right now they are. Other things that are going on that I think are page turners, I would say Venus going into the sign of Cancer is going to be rather magnificent. I also think Mars going into the sign of Libra, even though he doesn't, he's not very strong in the sign of Libra, I think it's going to be very beneficial because he's really starting to move things forwards. Now, I also, it would be remiss of me not to mention that we're going to have a Mercury Cazimi on the 31st. And of course, the timing of it varies according to where you are in the world. But the Mercury Cazimi, in fact, I think I'll put the timing into the description field. But the Mercury Cazimi in total is about 8 hours. Crossing from the 31st of July to the 1st of August. So check it out in your own time zone. But this is a time, it's retrograde and it is in your 12th house. And it's your ruling planet. To me, this is a really great time for you to solve one of the riddles of your existence, to get a real sort of deeply felt answer about something you've been puzzling about. Let's have a look at how this lays out on your chart. So this is the new moon in Leo. As you can see, it's in your 12th house area. And this is where Mercury, your ruling planet, is. Now, during this time, often we feel like the 12th house, when we've got the sun there, Mercury, Venus or Mars, we tend to be quite kind of low energy, a little bit more reticent, a little bit less social than usual. And so I do think the start of this, with the new moon in your 12th, this is starting, a month ahead until we get the in fact, you're going to have 2 new moons in your sign coming up next. But until the next new moon comes in at, I think it's 0 degrees in the sign of Virgo, I think you're probably going to just relax quite a bit and not push yourself too much. This is a time for you to sort of have a sort of cosmic makeover. To me, this is all about you delighting in your intuition and not pushing yourself too much. This is about you kind of being open a little bit more free and a little bit more spontaneous. To me, this is about you letting go of your story, not like holding on too tightly to things. Now, this particular new moon is in exact opposition with Pluto in your 6th. And Pluto in your 6th is absolutely trying to get you to create a great story about yourself. Maybe Pluto's bringing in some epic tales and some epic themes for you in terms of extra responsibilities and things that you need to do in your life. He's really trying to keep you in the story of you as you have it right now. But this new moon in Leo and also the Mercury retrograde is helping you to unravel all the threads. To me, it feels like you've gone around the zodiac over the last 11 months, and it feels like you're ready for a sort of like new revolution, this new feeling coming forward. You're not quite there yet. It's almost like it's starting tomorrow. It's starting not literally tomorrow, but with the next new moon. It feels like this month ahead is really about you resting a little bit, nourishing yourself, taking some just quality time for yourself to step out of your day-to-day story and more into your night to night or your dream to dream story. This isn't meant to be highly scripted. So I can see that this could be a little bit confusing for you, Virgo, because I know, the 6th house is, tells such a strong story. You're the 6th sign as well. And I think being organized and knowing your narrative, knowing your script, knowing how everything fits together is kind of your jam. But right now with Mercury retrograde and this new moon in your 12th house, I think this is a time for you to not be yourself for a little bit and see how it feels. Give yourself a month off. You probably can't, but lighten the load a little bit and try to imagine what it would be to be kind of un-Virgo like for a minute. You're going to have a massive drenching of Virgo. Like I said, the next 2 new moons are in your sign. So you're going to have an absolute belly full of it. So give it a go. Now, with this particular new moon, yes, you've got this opposition to Pluto, which is kind of pulling you into the everyday world. And really, it's at a time when you could really do with a bit of rest. But this is actually supported by Neptune and Saturn in your 8th house. Now, this Neptune and Saturn energy, I think, is really quite helpful. I kind of wince sometimes, when I see it going into particular signs, but that's not because it's inherently bad. It's just that I know that if you're not consciously aware of those planets, it can trip you up. But when you are aware of it, it can bring in the greatest of gifts. Now, what I see here with Neptune and Saturn in the 8th is that this is one of those times where the energy could absolutely be misunderstood and create difficulties for you. Neptune in the 8th house. The 8th house is intuitive. It's quite secretive. It is quite covert. The 8th house isn't just about you and your psychology, but it's about you and your psychology and the psychology of the people you're related with, like whether it's your birth family, your adopted family, the family you've created yourself, the relationship you have with your partner, with your ex-partner. It involves all of your major relationships and also the shared assets between you. And of course, as you get older and your parents might be, they might pass away, and then there's inheritance, with your brother or your long lost cousin or whatever. There are all sorts of weird and difficult things that can happen in the 8th house. And you've got Neptune going through there for quite a few years now. My feelings with this is, if you can understand that Neptune is here to help you see where you are coerced, to help you see where you might have hidden resentment, to help you see where your judgments, like where you are judged and also where you're judging others. To me, Neptune is here to help you notice where it's groggy or murky or difficult, so that you can step out of it and realize what you do want. To me, Neptune is clearly giving you a helping hand, because he's helping you to see just how easy it is to fall into these emotional and psychological traps. Now, Saturn coming through here can really bring the seriousness of needing to sort things out, like sorting out boundaries between people, getting clearer when somebody says, "Oh, I really liked you with your long hair," or "I really, oh, isn't it funny that you've done this?" Like these kind of slightly catty comments. And you're not quite sure what they mean, and you're not sure if someone's trying to put guilt on you. I didn't really give a good example, but those kinds of comments that your mum might make, or your best friend or someone, and you're just like, oh, there's an edge of something there, I can't quite place it. I think we all have a relationship with someone like that can just do that little edge, and you're like, oh, that didn't feel quite good. Saturn here is going to help you have the courage to define and say, hey, did you mean to make me feel guilty? Are you trying to make me feel guilty? Most people will say, oh my goodness, no. This is a place of deep unconsciousness. So you might find that this is an area where people are horrified that you might suggest that they're trying to make you undermine you or make you feel guilty, or this, that, and the other. But this to me is you getting stronger in yourself, knowing where your boundaries are, knowing what you will do, and accepting that there's not much control you can have over other people, but that you can learn to identify what's going on to the best of your abilities, and you can decide on the kind of standards you want in your own life. To me, this is very much like a psychological finishing school. It can bring up some real deep-seated stuff, some big triggering, but it can also give you the handbook to get out of it. Saturn is that handbook. So yeah, to get back to where I was trying to go with with the new moon here in the 12th, which is the unconscious programming, you losing your story, letting go of your story, and trying to release some of these old insecurities, these old feelings, and just kind of be a little bit without all these little judgments and things floating around. I think this new moon is going to bring a lot of this into your mind, bring a lot of this into your consciousness, so you can start to work out what feels sensitive and what doesn't. I think a lot of us have got so good at pretending we're not affected by things that we've desensitized ourselves, which on the one hand is good. It's good for our survival. It helps us. But then we forget what we're really feeling. And sometimes we belittle our feelings. We say, oh, it's nothing, but actually it really cuts. And I don't think this false bravery is helpful. And so this particular new moon could really give you a new psychological start. It might not sound exciting. Yeah, it's not glamorous. It's not necessarily romantic, but boy, oh boy, is it helping you to get much clearer, so that by the time you get down to this new moon, this double new moon in Virgo, late August and late September, you are in a much, much better place to kind of zip on past all those people that have been really quite difficult. Now, as we get towards the full moon in Aquarius, you'll see that this is still highlighted, this 12th house, and also the 6th house here. Now we've just got Mercury in opposition to Pluto, and we've got the full moon here. So the 6th and the 12th, the 12th and the 6th are still really important. And this is your constructed, manifested story, your day-to-day living. And this is you kind of unliving. This is you deconstructing your life. So it's a really interesting balance over this next 2 weeks. But with this particular opposition, we've also got Mars in your second house. Now, Mars going into your second house is going to give you a lot more impetus to get your money sorted out and to feel a lot more upfront, a lot more powerful with your money. And I think this will be very helpful. But you might find that with all of your bravery, your courage, your determination to step forwards, you might feel like there are old ideas or energies holding you back. For instance, one thing I've had to battle through is this belief that my parents have had that if you've got a psychic gift, or if you've got like a gift that's, I don't know, that has some kind of element of kindness to it, that it should be for free, that it's not a job, that you can't earn a living by doing what's right for you. And I think we've all got little beliefs about ourselves and the things we go through. And so to me, this full moon could really bring you up close and personal with any resistance that you have to earning money and feeling in control with your money. But this is really dynamic. There's a lot of change coming up from this. Mars is really zipping up this energy into your career with Uranus and into your working day with Pluto. To me, this is a kind of powerful triad of change and transformation. This is really going to be working in your favor. So please don't worry about that. The other thing that I think, in fact, I don't need to talk about that, because really where I'm pulled, I really want to give you a sense of something that's really beautiful that's also unfolding. And to me, that is this oncoming or incoming, sorry, Jupiter and Venus conjunction around the time of the full moon and beyond that. They are absolutely tying into this North Node trine. And this is going from the 7th to the 11th house, even though in this next 2 weeks, I really see that you're kind of retiring a little bit, you're pulling back a little bit, you're loosening some of your stories, you're kind of taking the hats off, and, you're kind of relaxing. Maybe you're chilling out in a pair of sweatpants or something. But yeah, there's something so much more beautiful than you realize that is also evolving around you. See, there are lots of recipients of your generosity. There are recipients of your kindness. There are recipients of your thoughtfulness, your heart space, the care and attention that you put into life. And right now, there is this beautiful energy of people that want to collaborate with you that's coming in right now. And they are really working beautifully in terms of possibly even bringing in new love or strengthening love. To me, it feels like when you've let go of some of these stories, and, we all have these moments in time where we're due to kind of just drop a load and recognize who we are again underneath all of this pretense. I think as you let go of some of this over the next couple of weeks, in particular, as you're coming into the 9th and beyond that, then this new gift of these new people, they can see you, they feel your energy, they feel your sincerity, and they want to collaborate. And boy, oh boy, is that going to bring you into some much better places. Yeah, I think that's kind of helping you to see the truth underneath the noise. And reminding you that there is a part of you that is returning, and that is that part of knowing that you're sincere, that sincerity, that safe space, that thing that you do that nobody else does, the thing that you do better than everyone else. Also, the thing that you've been hiding, I think, is your quirkiness, your sense of originality. That is now right at the top of the chart. Uranus is, in your 10th house. He's going to really show the world who you are. He's really going to help you to bring forward all that is different about you, all that you might normally hide. The sentence I want to give you, and this comes from Access Consciousness, but it's what if the oh crikey, what if the wrongness of you is the rightness of you? And I think that is what's coming. And when you stop hiding the wrongness of you, I actually think you're going to really fly. So last thought then, and that is that right now, there are some really, really great points in your chart in terms of money making opportunities and also romance as well. There's some really beautiful things. And I've pre-recorded some recordings for my membership. And normally they just go to my membership, but I'm putting some excerpts into the next video. And if you click on this next video, it will take you there, some extra intel for this next 2 weeks ahead, just for you, Virgo. So take care and catch you real soon. Bye for now.